All right, everyone, we are live. So today is about how to break into that real estate photography. And I explicitly was thinking more about like if you're a wedding photographer and you really want to get in that, sort of octopus out your arms into other areas. So how do we get in there? Let's jump right in here today. I have my little cheat sheet here I'll be referring to. I didn't think the PowerPoints get kind of boring, so I have my cheat sheet down here. The first thing you're going to want to consider is, of course, the equipment. And a lens is really important. And I do have quite a bit of videos up on this. If you just search my page and, lenses for real estate photography on my page, there's a bunch of stuff. But in short, I do recommend the Tokena glass, the 11 to 16 and the 11 to 20. Those will fit onto almost every camera. If you're shooting full frame, I don't see the Sigma 14 to 24 get recommended too much, but that's one of my favorite lenses as far as that goes. And if you want to get out really cheap, I feel like maybe picking up something like a Sony a6000 with a Samyang 12 millimeter. That's the one I've been recommending. So the point here is, though, you really want to get that nicest lens you can to do this work. And they usually come in around $500 or so. So it's really not so bad in terms of the pricing. So that's the lens. Another thing you photographers out there are going to want is a geared head. And you probably don't have this in your arsenal, right? I would have to guess anyway. And I recommend there's a Manfrotto one and there's a Benro one. They're both about $200. And I'd go ahead and I sort of lean toward that Benro nowadays. It's $200. You're just going to be able to, we won't go all into this stuff right now, but in general, architectural photography, you're wanting to get your composition close, and then you're wanting to make really fine adjustments to the left or to the right or up or down like that. And only a geared head will get that for you. You're not going to get that with a ball head. I've tried it before. I've been forced into trying that. It was a nightmare. So don't do that to yourself. Just get a geared head from the start. Only $200 for photographers. That's a great investment, I feel. Now the lighting. Now this is where this is such an interesting topic to me because everyone's plugging themselves nowadays. But I have courses up, and we'll go ahead and check that out right now. And I believe so much in my courses because one of the reasons is if you're getting into this, you're going to have to buy lighting, and a lot of the techniques out there, you're buying, say, 5 lights, 6, 7, 8 speed lights, light stands, all umbrellas, everything. Well, the way I shoot and the courses I teach, guess what? You're just going to be buying one light stand, okay? I mean, let me say that again. You're going to be buying one light, okay? And hopefully it's a big light, maybe, because all you're doing is essentially going around the house and lighting with that one light. We're getting little internet problems here, but here's the courses right here on my website, Peche Photo, and I'm showing you how to light with a minimal amount of equipment, which also helps on your pocketbook, right? And it also helps you on site because you're moving faster. That's where you make the money on site. If you think about how that works, you're making your money on site. And so the more jobs you can fit into a day, if you can fit in 5 jobs when it's still daylight out, and you can just get home, and if you get too busy for your post-processing, you could always hand that off to a editor, right? So the point is, you're going to want to get through houses fast. That's the key, because the argument against the way I work and sort of compositing and lighting things with one light is it takes longer in post. But first of all, I don't even think that's necessarily true. But second, you could always send the edits off to an editor, okay, or the photos off to an editor if you do get too busy one day. All right. So once again, I think that money on a course is well spent because, like I said, you're saving on lighting equipment. That's where I'm going with that. You're actually saving money to buy a course that teach you how to light because you're not using, 8 lights in each of your shots, or you're going to have to buy all that gear, okay? Let me refer back here to my... So I have a video up here about... This really covers the next point really well, and it's called The Only 2 Problems in Real Estate Photography. And I feel like the first thing that's going to hit you guys as you're getting into this field is, should I do HDR style, or should I light things? And the thing is, I guess there's no right or wrong answer, but I feel like in this video right here, the only two problems in real estate photography, I'm doing my best at explaining why I feel like lighting is not only faster, but you're getting such a better result. So that ratio there between spending a little bit extra time but getting 2 or 3 4 times better photo is so worth it. And then the crazy thing is as you get better, a guy like Scott Dubose out there, he's even moving faster than HDR shooters, or as fast as the fastest HDR shooters. So once you get this down, it's just like anything else. You learn the lighting, you're going to refine it, you're going to be moving as fast as even a guy running off brackets. Okay, that's why I think it's, if I had to fall off the fence one way or the other, I try to be subjective as I can, but I think the lighting is really a better way to go. So that's where I'm going to steer you towards, going the lighting route. So it's just going to do a better job at taking care of your colors. And the only other problem we have really in real estate photography is dynamic range. And whereas HDR tries to take care of those two things, it's really not good at taking care of the color aspect of it all. It actually makes you have to do more work, which for you guys just getting into this, that might be a huge nightmare, right? You're coming home, you don't know what's going on. You're having to fix photos that you did, you're HDRing them, and it's just making more problems. So lighting will really circumvent those problems, those color problems. And lighting will also help you get around any dynamic range problems. You just bring up the interior with your lighting, right? And maybe your exposure is more or less where the window is not, I wouldn't say well exposed, but it's a little bit darker than it would naturally be if the room was well lit, okay? So that's the advice I have with that. Definitely get off that fence and get on the side of the lighting of it. That's where I think you're really going to be best served as you get into this. You're going to invest time. You're going to invest time in HDR. You're going to be spending a lot of time on techniques that I feel won't take you further. Okay, that's another way to put it. All right. So that's the second point. HDR versus lighting. I really would emphasize you to go for the lighting route. Okay. All right, and the next point we're going to have is you're going to have to practice, of course. And let's say you went out, you bought your Gearhead, you bought your light, maybe you bought a course. And guess what? This is the greatest part about your little project here about starting up a new business. You're going to have to, let me get back here. Let me get back here like this. You're going to have to, I lost my train of thought here. Oh yeah, your home practice. So you got your home now to practice in. And what I'd say is about 80 to 90% of the problems you're going to come across in real estate photography are right in your own home. So you got your Gearhead, you got your lights now, you got your, the new lens that you bought. It's just a few things, up and above from what you're currently using to shoot weddings, right? You just practice in your house. If you get that down, maybe you do it every afternoon before your wife gets home from work from 4 to 5 or something. In a couple weeks after you go through this stuff and maybe watch some videos about how people do it, couple weeks you're getting to the point where you can feel like you get out there and get a client. You're not going to just come into a room probably and just have some totally foreign experience than you did in your house. I mean, there are going to obviously be more scenarios out in the real world, but the point is you're never going to get there until you just get the jobs. Okay, so I'm recommending practice in your house. That should be fine. Maybe practice in your uncle and your best friend's house. Do as best you can, but grab a client or two as soon as you can. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as well. All right, later coming up. All right, the fourth point I have here. Now, we did another video. That's why I have this up. And it was a really recent video. Let me sort of minimize this again. There's a really recent video on, let's see, what was it? I just want to get the title right. There it is, actually. The 7 Deadly Sins in Real Estate Photography. And what I talked about in there is you're going to want to be... not too pushy with your marketing, in my opinion. And it might sort of be slow, at the beginning. But I just feel like the best way to market to people is just to sort of make genuine connections. Okay, so you're putting your face in front of potential clients, and you're just sort of infusing that you're out there and your business exists, and they can get back to you via your card. Okay, so that stuff's all really important. So just make sure you get out there, and there's going to be more techniques about how to market stuff and all that good stuff. But that's what I'd say. Maybe watch that video too, because I go through it a little bit more in there. But yeah, I'd say parlay your contact, right? You have a bunch of wedding contacts, right? And of course, there might be there's many different photographers out there, right? Product, whatever. If you're moving over, parlay your current clients. Mention to them right now, start tomorrow. Oh, I'm in real estate photography now. If you ever happen to know anybody, blah, 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 something like that. Okay, so get your current clients on board. That's a big one for you, I'd say. And this is personally what I feel is probably the biggest mistake. I don't know why people are like this, but don't even think about letting anybody get a whiff that you're a newbie at this. I just think people handle this so poorly. People think, oh, I'm being more honest or something, but just forget that. And then I wrote down an analogy here, and I really think it's useful because imagine you're driving down the road and you and your wife and your daughter, maybe you get hungry. You stroll into a restaurant. You don't know anything, what's going on. You just stroll into a restaurant. Imagine if they said something to you like, oh, we just opened yesterday, or this is our first meal we cooked is for you. You never really hear stuff like that. And likewise, maybe a better way to put this is you never see a sign that reads something like established June 2020, right? So people aren't out there displaying the fact that they're newbies ever. That's just not something people do in the business world. So just get on board with that. You're in the same boat. It doesn't need to come up, do your best practicing. Act like when you're on the job, you got things under control. And I would just stay away from that whole honesty is the best policy thing and letting people know this is your first real estate shoot. I think that's a really big mistake because the leverage and everything can totally shift against you. Like they're going to feel like they have more bargaining power. They're going to feel like they're, now they're doing you favors, because they're giving you your first job. So that's a big one. Stay away from letting people know you're a newbie, okay? Just like the rest of the business world. Again, I love that example. You never see, established June 2020. You don't see that ever. You always see a sign that says we established 1972 or something, right? And I feel like this is more of a reassuring point, but it's the truth. Just keep in mind that your photos that you deliver, there's quite a bit of room there's more of room for sort of error in delivering photos to real estate clients. And the one way I can put it is it's not like delivering files to a wedding client where if you just deliver like these drop dead gorgeous files and you spend a ton of time on them, for a fact the bride and the groom are going to go crazy. It's not really like that in real estate photography, and why could be a whole video in itself, but you're going to get mixed reactions. Even when you deliver really nice photos, you might have people like not even acting like it's, they're, you might even have people acting like they don't like them. That's always a real shocker. But I'm just saying, even somebody that's more experienced, we get a lot of clients who maybe are sort of indifferent to the photos, and I just think it's normal. And on the other end, like I was saying, if you deliver really, really nice files to your client, if you're sort of maybe inexperienced and you go out of your way and spend the extra time and go that extra mile, that's probably a mistake, if I have to be honest to myself, with you guys, as far as clients go. So people aren't going to notice that stuff, but I think the good part about this is there's a lot more room for air to sort of get your first files out there and just feel comfortable that you've delivered those, you did a good job, you practiced, you did your due diligence and everything, you got the equipment and everything you needed, you got some education, and just feel comfortable with what you deliver, because the clients are going to be sort of all over the place. One of them's going to like really nice imagery, which it's easier to sort of meld to them. And then the next one is going to like, and when I say like, I mean they're going to have an idea that what is a good photo. It's going to be completely different from yours. So again, it's a good and a bad thing. I think in the beginning stages, it's a really good thing because there's just such a wide breadth of what's acceptable in real estate photography. It's different in a wedding world, right? You deliver sort of a subpar set of photos and everyone's going to know like you didn't do that great a job. It's not so much the case in real estate photography. So I think that should add to your confidence and sort of, I think it should help you because you know you're delivering something, the verticals are straight, everything's looking good, the colors are pretty accurate, everything should be fine on your end, okay? Okay, and the last point here could have been the first point. I think if you're already set, like you're gonna get into this, you know for a fact you're getting into real estate photography, I would start thinking about video and aerial stuff right now. Just start thinking about it immediately. Because what's gonna happen when you start getting your first clients, the doors are just going to open and open and open the more services you offer. So you offer aerials, you offer video. I'm telling you, doors would shut if you didn't offer that stuff. You're going to lose. And imagine it's such a sort of bottleneck effect, if that's the right way to put it, when you're starting, because you have, say, 2 clients. Well, those 2 clients, if you do video and aerials, could parlay into 8 clients in a day or 2. Whereas if you don't do video and aerials, you still have those 2 clients. So you see how that can be an exponential effect, right? You're just mushrooming out when you have that ability to do the video and the aerials. So I would think about getting a drone. Some of you wedding guys out there already handle video really well. So that's great. You know, you're already sort of equipped with that skill. And the big note here is, this was sort of the other part of this last point. In my opinion, the people doing video and real estate photography, the average people, are a little bit crazy. And, you know, they're all my viewers, so they're telling the screen right now that I'm a jerk. But the thing is, they're going too far. And mainly I'm talking about the average real estate shoot. What you guys should be thinking about doing if you're just getting into this, getting a gimbal. It could even be your iPhone. This is what I'm talking about. Maybe, you know, you don't want to have the iPhone on there. Maybe a little bit nicer camera. But you get a gimbal to do the walkthrough stuff. You get the aerial. You get the drone to do the outdoor stuff. So that's got you covered. That's almost 90% right there. You get maybe a fluid head on one of your tripods to do some pans and tilts inside. And you can actually set a camera that has 4K down, and just lost one of my lights, but you could actually set it down and do fake sort of sliders using your, you know, post-processing. So the point here is, I feel like people get too involved with the video shoots. You should be in there offering video, offering all these services, the aerials and everything. And the thing is, you're getting all the benefits of that, but you're not getting all the drawbacks of like delving into video like a madman. That's going to take away from your photography, right? So get in there at sort of the base level where you're just doing walkthrough footage. That should be really easy to get with a gimbal. I personally even think if you have a really, really nice IBIS system and a camera, you could, you know, do a whole ninja walk thing and walk through with a camera that has really good IBIS and maybe even a lens. Some of the Panasonics, I feel like, have the greatest IBIS, and then they have it in the lens too. So I feel like you could probably get away with just holding a camera, but that's beside the point. I think a gimbal, I think you're getting the point here. Get into video and aerial work and get it in a really cursory way. And don't be afraid to just jump in feet first and be delivering files. Get ahead of your competitor already, who's spending a little bit more time on the video, and he shouldn't. Like, he's getting sliders and 2 tripods out and stupid crap like this. Believe me, that's a total waste of time for real estate photography. Just leave that to the guys that are making $3,000 on their videos, okay? So you're getting in there. Now you're doubling your fee. So maybe you were charging $250 for the photos. Maybe now you add on $250 or more for the aerials and the and the video, maybe even more than that because you're giving aerial photos too, right? That's another topic. But the point is, you're only doubling your time at the house. You just doubled your fee. And now, you know, a $200 job turns into a $400 or $500 job, okay? So very, very important. That's why I talked about that last point for so long. Jump into video right away. You're just going to have a lot harder time competing with the big boys if you don't do it that way. But if you get in there and offer those services, like I say, in a really cursory way and do it right, just get in and out, because that's what clients want. People don't think about this as real estate photographers. I don't know why. Clients want you to get the hell out of the house. That's what clients want. People don't say that in, you know, real estate photography forums, but it's true. They want you to get the hell out of the house. So if you're shooting that video walking through the house, you get the drone photos. You could even do the drone stuff at the end, right? You could say, okay, I'm packed up. Don't move the cars or anything. I'm going to get the drone stuff, right? But you get a walkthroughs and maybe a couple shots like around the sink or in the kitchen, little pans or whatever. You're out of there. I'm telling you, it could even take you less than 30 minutes, I think, to shoot the interior. Get outside, shoot some video and photos with the drone. All right. So that is my few steps on how to get started in real estate photography. And I think if you follow all those, I really think you're going to have a lot easier time, and it's going to be easier on your pocketbook too. There's something about my air conditioner. I got a little sweaty today, but I just, you know, I didn't turn it down enough. All right. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. I appreciate it. And I know for you guys on the what do you call it, on the West Coast, it's about 4 in the morning right now, but over here it's about 6 in the evening. So that's just how it goes sometimes. And thanks for the comment, RC. So thanks, everyone. But I'm gonna tune out now. It was nice nice chatting with you, I suppose. Thanks a lot, everyone. Okay, see you for the next one.